Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's On The Edge Films, assistant editor here, Noah Platts, welcoming you to the first of our 2 January podcasts. Hopefully we'll be putting up 2, maybe even 3 a month. This will be the first of this month, and I'm going to kick off really by talking about 2012. We had some fantastic films in 2012, 4 of which I've picked out really for merit here. And these are my personal opinions: Skyfall, Dark Knight Rises, Argo, and The Avengers, particular highlights for me. What do you guys think? Post in the comments below about what you thought 2012 was like for the film industry. My favourite film of 2012 has to be The Caped Crusader. To end the saga of Dark Knight Rises, just so good. I'm fanboying here, I don't even know what I'm saying. The Caped Crusader, Batman himself, was back in The Dark Knight Rises, and what a film it was. Nolan treated us just endless treats in that film, for me especially as a comic book fan. To see Bane as something that was actually, someone who was actually threatening, and the classic scene of him breaking Batman's back was really special for me. And also the introduction of Talia Al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, was a real shock for me, and I was so happy with that film. What did you guys think of The Dark Knight Rises? Post a comment below. Favourite TV of 2012? Now, this won't come to a shock to people who know me, but without a doubt, it's Doctor Who. I am a huge fanboy, like the biggest fanboy ever. In fact, now I'm looking at a Cyberman head, a Dalek, and also the Doctor's fob watch, which I painted to look more realistic so I could walk around with it in my pocket, as I am that sort of guy. I wrote an article actually, my first TV review. In fact, I think the only TV review I've done this year. Just sort of slack on my part, especially because Doctor Who's been out, and I really should be reviewing that, but I will be, I swear. But the review of the first episode in the latest series, The Asylum of the Daleks, I'll put that in the description. You can go and look at that either on the Edge website or on our Facebook, or in our free downloadable PDF, which I spoke about in the last podcasty thing, whatever. Anyway, let's move on to our next section, in which I'm going to talk about when myself, editor Josh Senior, and our friend Matt went to the pre-screening of Paddy Considine's Tyrannosaur at the Sheffield showroom. What an absolute joy. What an absolute privilege it was to go and see this. It was superb. Considine, well known for Dog Altogether, Silver Lion, and even starred in Hot Fuzz, I believe. The film stars Peter Mullen, who is now out of his Death Eater robes from Harry Potter, and Olivia Colman, taking her acting to serious places from the hilarious realms of Peep Show. Without giving too much away, Joseph, played by Peter Mullen, is a short-tempered alcoholic with a violent streak, and just enough sense to know that his life has gone terribly wrong. After getting in a fight with 3 men during a drunken sort of bender, Joseph stumbles upon a thrift shop run by Olivia Colman's character, Hannah. Joseph tosses sort of random insults at her, and she has such strong religious convictions that Joseph really does go to town on her, and also why she desires to help others. But as he gets to know her better, they sort of develop a grudging admiration for each other, and his feelings go stronger for her when he learns how dysfunctional Hannah's home life is. And she's married to James, played by Eddie Marsan, who plays a sort of similar character in This Is England, 86, and as a ghost in 88, who's been subjecting her to humiliating physical and emotional abuse for years. Eventually, Hannah works up the courage to leave James, and Joseph, Peter Mullen, takes her in. The film's fantastic. It's so gritty, and it's also what probably, Americans and perhaps other people, even us Brits would describe as a typical British drama. It excels in aspects of realism and social commentary of our culture. For example, This Is England was a very sort of strong link here for me when I was watching it. I was very much in that same mindset of, oh God, this is depressing, but oh God, it's so true sort of thing. Anyway, I hope I've not spoiled the film too much, and that also I've whet your appetite for a bit more of it. It'd be fantastic if you go watch it for yourselves. It's a fantastic film, and to appreciate, you really have to truly experience it. Maybe write down below in the comments how you felt about the film, if you've seen it, or, if you'd like to go and watch it, then I'm sure you can find a legal source. No illegal downloads here, please. This is quality On the Edge film here. This is, this is cerebral, proper things here. We have to buy films. Torrent. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, luckily after the screening we got to speak to the director, Paddy Considine, after the screening, and as an audience we probed him, non-sexually, about events within the film. Filming, writing, actors Mullen and Coleman, and also some quite funny anecdotes about the legendary actor Gary Oldman, who actually told Paddy, apparently, and I quote, to just fucking make it regarding Tyrannosaur. It's an absolute must-watch. It really is. Superb film, and one that it was a real privilege to go and see. And I think Josh, our editor-in-chief, can also vouch for me. That one. The most anticipated films of the year is something that people are, coming into the new year and us not dying from the Mayans. We're anticipating, new films, and our editor Josh Senior, as I just spoke, I seem to be speaking about Josh quite a lot actually. I don't really think he deserves it. He's a rubbish editor. No, he's not. He's fantastic. Anyway, in this article he writes on Now Then magazine. And in his article, he includes his sort of anticipated films from the year, which include Man of Steel, The Wolf on Wall Street, and Django Unchained. It's a really great article. I read that through a couple of nights ago, so go and check that out. The link's going to be in the description, along with everything else that I'm linking here. Personally, I agree with his selection of Man of Steel. As a lover of comic books, I cannot wait to see how, with Nolan as producer and Watchmen director, Zack Snyder in the director's chair, how they're going to approach this. Hopefully we get an origin story with, some grit, and it keeps in with the Batman trilogy of realism and, making... I stress this, making comic book film characters badass. Like the, Batman Forever, things like that with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Uma Thurman, and were just terrible. They really were. They were really bad. Like, so poor. Because they were not even as gritty as comic books. They were something else. And what Nolan's done is brought it back to that sort of very gothic, sort of quite horrific style of the DC universe. There's a lot of violence in there, and what he does is really bring that out, and I'm really impressed that he does so in the Batman trilogy. So hopefully we see that in Man of Steel. So looking forward to 2013, what are your most anticipated films? Maybe comment below. I've just mentioned a few out there, but I'm sure there's plenty more that you can look at and think about. And you might even be anticipating a new chick flick. If your name's Jamie Batt, my flatmate, he's obsessed, which is hilarious. Anyway, yes, that's it really for this podcast. It was just a short one to sort of get the ball rolling, as it were. All the trailers for all the films discussed and also relevant links will be below in the description. Thank you everyone for joining me here with On the Edge Films podcast number 1. It's been absolutely fantastic to speak to you guys. On the next podcast, hopefully Josh, our editor, and me will be discussing our favourite films of all time. We might even compile a little list for you, and also ask you guys to join in. So if you comment below on what your favourite film is, we will include it in our podcast. Anyway, yes, thank you very much for joining me here, and this has been Noah Platts, assistant editor to On the Edge Films and your official podcast guru for On the Edge. Thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon. Goodbye, and have a great night, day, morning, wherever you are. Thank you.